What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Can you tell the difference between the Mavic Mini and the Eachine EX5? This looks very similar to the Mavic Mini. It's kind of a clone of sorts. It is not a $500 or $600 drone like the Fly More combo for the Mavic Mini. It is around $99 to start. So if you're interested to learn how to fly a drone and just get out there and fly something that has GPS on it, for around $100 is actually a pretty good deal. It does have folding arms. It's under 250 grams. It has brushless motors, GPS return to home on here. It has translated 4K video, follow me, orbit mode, and waypoints on here. So it is app supported. And honestly, in my testing, I got about I'd say about 400 to 500 feet out before the video started to lag on the phone. So if the video goes out or the app crashes, you open the app back up and start again. Now, years ago on DJI apps, they used to crash as well. So you'd have to close the app and go back into the app, and then the video will automatically restart. But the return to home works really good on this. And for the price point, at around $99, you get everything you need to fly a drone in one bag. You only need to have a phone to fly this with 5G Wi-Fi video on there, and it is 802 transmission, so you'll need that on your phone. So look that up in the specs on your phone and make sure you have the right specs for the EX5. But I would suggest going for the 3 battery combo. I think it's around $139 in the US store. So this one is also sporting some optical flow on the very bottom, so it has vision positioning. So when it gets close to the ground, it sees the ground and really starts to hover in one spot even better. So full stabilization, GPS positioning, translated 4K video on here, and a nice long flight time on a great price on a quad that's under 250 grams. That's pretty good. So this will get you started flying drones much cheaper than going for the full investment of the Mavic Mini. Start here and then move up to the Mavic Mini later. Let's go ahead and go outside now and let's fly this little EX5, you guys, and have some fun with it. And let me share my experience of the EX5 with you. Here we go, guys. Let's do it. Okay, guys, let's have some fun. Here we go. We're going to calibrate the compass without getting too dizzy here. And you're going to 3 or 4 times on the horizontal, and then with the drone facing the ground a few times. And then you should be ready to take off into that GPS positioning hover. It should hold its ground in one spot, altitude and everything, and it shouldn't do much drifting at all. But there's not much better video out there for $99, in my opinion, as far as the toy drones go. This is translated 4K, so no onboard SD card. But again, the video is not the greatest, but that's not the strong point of this drone. Flying the EX5 is where it's really, really fun. You can fly a pretty big field, find a place where there's no trees. The video does look a lot better up close. You can actually see the details. And I felt like the return to home worked really, really nice. So that is one big benefit of this drone. It came back, it landed almost perfectly where I took off from just about every single time. And it just looks super cool up in the air. Does that not look like the Mavic Mini in the air? I love the stickers on the front, and it seems to work well as far as the positioning hold too. So when I get close to the ground, the drone really does hold its ground and stay in one spot. The one thing about this drone, like the Mavic Mini, choose your flight day though, because man, a little bit of wind makes this drone really have the wobbles. So on a day when there's absolutely no wind, it will lock into position just like this and really hold its ground and not move around. But let's also fly it around and let someone else fly it and see what he thinks about it. This is my friend Diego, and he is an FPV race drone pilot, and he is liking the high-speed mode on here. So it is actually pretty fast for how small this little drone is. I was surprised in the high-speed mode. Now, the high-speed mode is on the right-hand side of the controller. It looks like that little timer sort of icon. And once we get to the low battery, after about 20 minutes or so, the radio will start beeping, which is a good sign. So that lets you know you need to come in and land your drone.
Yeah. Okay.
Now here we're just kind of playing around with coming down, and Diego said you can actually come down faster if you do it on a tilt. Straight down, it comes down a little bit slower. But in the high-speed mode, that was a little faster. So if you need to get down to the ground quicker, use the high-speed mode. and kind of shuffle back and forth, and it'll come down a lot quicker for you. But he's having a lot of fun with it, and it's just so easy to fly. We had a great time playing around with the EX5 today. So the full throttle power out for the ascent is really powerful. And the controller itself, it didn't feel quite as robotic as some of the other ones. It is very easy to use. So I'm happy with the GPS, the flight modes on here. And the orbit mode was the one thing that I felt was lacking on this drone. The follow me seemed to work okay, and coming back in for a landing, return to home, and all that good stuff just seemed to all work out really, really fantastic for me. So I had a ton of fun with the EX5 today. So let's go back in the studio. All right, guys, welcome back from the flight test. So I just wanted to show you real quickly just a comparison of $99 versus around $580 to $600 with the Fly More combo with the 3-up battery charger for the DJI Mavic Mini. And I have to say that the controllers look even kind of this similar style. They both have the fold-up antennas, and they have controls on the very top and the power button on the side right here. This one does take 4 AAA batteries in there, so you will need 4 AAA batteries for this controller. And I don't believe that these antennas are actually real. I think they're just kind of like prop-up antennas, but because mostly you're working with an internal antenna here on this one. It has a video button here, a photo button here, it has an orbit mode button, which I think is pretty cool, and we have 2 different speed modes here, high and low. And I have to say, in the high mode, this quad was pretty fast in high mode. So we also have headless mode on here, which a lot of the toy drones have. It has your compass calibration button up at the top left, which I think is also kind of a nice thing. When you get started, you can just hit that and it'll automatically go into compass calibration mode. We have camera up down here, like where the Mavic Mini has camera dial here. This one has 2 buttons that make it go up and down. So the camera movements on this one are a little bit robotic, kind of up quickly and down quickly. So you're not really going to get super smooth video, but then again, guys, this is a toy drone. So we also have automatic takeoff. The power switch is in the very middle right here, and this is in mode 2. So the throttle is on the left here, and the yaw is here, and pitch and roll right here. It does not do flips, however. It also has a pull down space here, a little tray for your phone. And I don't know that they make any kind of tablet adapter for this, but I might be able to try to find one that fits in here for you and drop that in the link down below. I'll try to see if I can find that for you. But on the back, we have the battery hatch here, and that opens up to show you where we put in the 3 AAA batteries right here. And I suggest getting some nickel cadmium rechargeable ones. The batteries themselves look very similar again to the Mavic Mini. We have a battery here that's a Li-ion battery. It is a 2SP Li-ion battery. It is a 2200 milliamp battery. And you know, the Mavic Mini batteries are, again, very similar, just a little shorter, but about the same width. And the Mavic Mini battery, let me see if I can read that. It's very small. And this is a 2400 milliamp battery, so just a little bit bigger, but this one feels actually a little bit heavier. But still, the Mavic Mini is actually weighing in at just under 250 grams at 249. So this one is just a little bit lighter than the Mavic Mini as well, but 20-minute flight time with the EX5, which is pretty cool. So this is the quad itself, brushless motors, and the biggest thing that you noticed probably in the front of this one is it has a 3-axis gimbal in here, whereas this one has a fixed gimbal, but it does go up and down. So the video on this one, again, it is not the greatest video. You're not really going to make cinema videos with this quad, but this one is mostly for just pure flying enjoyment. And I think the design of it also just looks really cool. I mean, both of these drones look really cool. This one does have a smart battery option here, so you can tell how far along your battery's charged, which is nice, and that's included on the bottom of the drone. Normally that part right there is incorporated into the battery, but not with the Mavic Mini. So that's kind of cool that they did that. And the rear arms invert once they fold around, so it looks different than the way that the EX5 does. And again, you're going to have a phone that has 5G on here, but if you have a newer phone, it will also work on Android or iOS 9 and above. So very, very cool there. But if your app crashes, I definitely suggest like quickly closing it out and then opening it back up. And it does say on the front here 229 grams, and let's just double check that. Let's get out the scale and see what this weighs with the battery. Okay, so the battery is in the back right here, and I feel like this hatch could maybe be a little bit better. Sometimes it doesn't close all the way, so just double check that this is closed and locked. It kind of has some flimsy locking feeling on the very bottom here. So 232.5, so 232.5, and the drone itself was claiming 229, so I think it's a little over the weight that it says, but they tend to do that on the specs sometimes. They kind of underweigh things, and then they kind of tell us that they fly a little bit longer. I think a realistic flight time is definitely 20 minutes on these batteries, but I like the way that the drone folds out, and it is really quiet when you're flying this little guy. So I think that if you're looking for a drone that's super quiet out in the field, this one is really not going to disturb anybody. You really can't hear this little guy until it comes right up on you. So that's kind of cool. And I really like the LEDs in the very front. I don't have a battery in the radio right now, but these will go solid when you're done, and they're also rear lights. So when the battery gets low, it'll start flashing like this and let you know. Also, when the battery's low, this transmitter will start beeping. So it lets you know you need to be flying back to home once it gets to that low battery point. But I felt like the battery really lasted a long time in here. So yeah, that's one really big pro about the EX5. And again, that back hatch could be a little bit better, but overall I'm really happy with the EX5, and I'm glad that they sent me one. It was a ton of fun to fly and super stable, and I felt like in high speed mode it went really fast. So I'm happy with the low for recording slower, more sort of semi kind of cinematic videos and practicing that, and then being able to fly super fast across the field and get back to home quickly if you have a low battery. So it's nice to have two of those flight modes. The other flight modes on there, orbit mode and follow mode, are just kind of like gimmicks, and you'll probably get over those pretty quickly. But overall, great drone, and I'm going to give it like 1 thumbs up for the fun factor of the EX5. Definitely one worth checking out, and definitely one for making a purchase for someone that's just getting into drones, or if you have somebody's birthday coming up. This one is a fun one to get. So thanks again for watching my channel, guys. I'm Justin Davis. Take care out there, and this is my EX5. Please subscribe, guys. I'll see you on the next one.